Hi, everybody. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, warriors. How's everyone doing today? Of course, the big story is cable. Makes Blake Morrow the man. Hi, BW, how are you? I just want to follow up and update on a few observations I have. Starting off with USD CAD, everyone see my USD CAD chart? This may just be a little ABC, and we could still make another trip down to 32 or 31. So CAD could represent a potential shorting opportunity here with stops up here between 420 and 450. One of the reasons being, technically, we did have confirmed lows here on the 4-hour. So everyone, once you get to know me, you'll know I make a big deal out of confirmed highs and confirmed lows. A little house cleaning on the Aussie Kiwi. We've had candles close under 7.5, so that was a line in the sand in the Aussie Kiwi right here. So I'm reassessing now. We'll see what kind of downside follow through we get in Aussie Kiwi. There we go. Right here. Okay, so we're taking out the breakout line. It could be a false breakdown, but this was a plan. Risk management's important. The difference between pros and amateurs are they know how to lose, so I'm out of the way on this one. Give me a Y if you're with me. From what the suggested entry, you should have partial profits anyway. You know, anytime I make some type of trading suggestion or recommendation, I'm always in favor of partial profits, 30, 40 pips your way. If you've been with me for a while, you know that. If you're new to hearing my voice, acknowledge that. So always look to get paid 30, 40 pips on anything I talk about. If it's a deal, give me a Y. Okay, we have the team here. I'm going to get to them in a minute. I also want to talk precious metals here. Silver really never hurt you. Okay, we have this rising wedge here. We diverged up here. To me, it looks vulnerable. Gold did hurt you by making successive higher highs. Silver did not. So if you were short the relative weakness, you didn't get hurt. I'm still not impressed with the silver here. You know, if you want to be a bull, I think you're going to have a chance to buy it lower. I'd sell rallies with stops over 1860. We could get back down towards 1780. Then we have a shot for 1720 or so. That's my view on silver. Sure you want to see the Canada again? Okay. There you go. So this could just be a little ABC, maybe a fib retrace of this break we covered down here last week. I haven't said anything about Canada since the cover Thursday, Friday, Thursday on the CAD news, and Friday before the NFP. Was that what it was last Friday? Or the Fed? Anyway, I think there's a shot for one more trip down. If you notice here, we have a confirmed low, RSI reading of 22 down here. Does that help? Hi, Luca. Mark Hab is in the house. I'll get to you in a minute. Thank you, Hardiano. So I think that covers what I want to talk about. Now, this is what I want to acknowledge. You know, we went through the whole process of Blake through his pound crosses. Everyone remember Blake last week talked about it was going to be tough to make certain decisions. in the pound crosses, his statement was, it's hard to be up 400 pips and not be tempted to take it, yet thinking about adding on. Okay, Luca, I'll take a look at that. And then we had this, it broke his trend line, and his style kept him in it. And then this is something for your toolbox. I mentioned to Blake yesterday that I think he did the right thing. Not that it matters what I think, it only matters what I do or what you do or what he does. But I pointed out that the high here in pound Kiwi was confirmed. You had a confirmed high along with the high here, and that markets rarely peak when momentum confirms price, which you had right here. And you had a chance all day, if you believed in that hypothesis of a confirmed high, you had all day to get long looking for another high that may or may not confirm. So we've made new highs and now we're not confirming. So in my work, that's a reason to book profits, not a reason to get short, but a reason to lighten up, because this time we have made new highs and it's still a very high reading, but it's underneath the last peak. Give me a Y if you see it. Okay, so you know, I was observing and going through the whole process with Blake. I'm sure it wasn't easy to watch pound Kiwi do this, but here we are at new highs. So put this in your toolkit, and this is how it reads. Markets rarely peak or rarely bottom. It could be a bottom, a top, but not the top, when price momentum, which I use RSI, confirms the price move at new highs or new lows. There's a very high probability when prices are confirmed, momentum's confirming price, that there'll be another high or low to follow. If you get it, give me a Y. This is one of my teachings. Hi, Tosin, how are you? Hey, Rick, how are you? Good to see your handle in here. Patrick, Brooke. So, I don't know if Blake is around today, but based upon his training and his discipline, I bestow upon Blake. I think he deserves a man award for riding this out. knowing Blake, he probably added. So
actually, can you hear me?
I can hear you, buddy.
I didn't add. I actually added to Euro pound shorts. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm short the Euro pound. I'm long the pound New Zealand. I'm long pound Canadian and pound Aussie. I'm not even long the pound dollar, but I've got almost every other pound cross on. Staying away from the yen because I don't like selling yen. But I want to give a really big thanks to Nick Trades, Nicola Duke, and Steve V. They Vulgari. They both called me.
What time was it?
At 2:45 a.m.
Okay. See, okay. There's a team.
But that's a team looking out for me. They called me, woke me up, and said, "Hey, you know, there's some big news. You know, there's a press conference that Prime Minister May is going to put on. And it's not. It doesn't happen unless it's, you know, it could have been the Queen is dead. You know, thank God that wasn't the case. But it could have been anything. But it was something very important. They knew it was very important. They both called me, woke me up. So needless to say, I'm a little tired at the moment, but you know,
I have something to rejuvenate you, because this is a life-changing experience right here, Blake.
It's good
to receive the Face Award. Are you kidding me? Look at this. You know, and
thank you very much, buddy. Hey, just real quick, just so everybody knows this here. Let me, if you want, I'll just jump in really quick. I want to show you a couple important things, and then I'm going to let you go. I know you got a lot of stuff you want to talk about today. The pound is obviously making a move. We've got here. Let me just pull it up really quick. Here's the cable, and for those of you guys that don't know this, the reason why myself and a lot of the ForexAnalytix team, matter of fact, have been playing the cable to the upside, is just because of the very large short position. We're approaching, in my opinion, extremely critical resistance here. Here's the daily chart in the pound. We came out of a triangle pattern. We're closing in on 161% extension of the down channel here, which also coincides with the previous support. So basically 128 is, and if you look at the ForexAnalytix page here, let me get over to, that was in the analysis, but here's the ForexAnalytix page. You'll notice right here is the bull bear line for the pound dollar comes in at 127.75, which basically is 128. So we're almost there, and this is going to be a big resistance. I don't expect us to break 128 today. I mean, we're already up 127 pips. I don't expect a 300 pip move today, but we could be up. We could at the peak today be up maybe 150, 160 pips, as we close in on this key resistance here. And here's the this is the 1 hour, but you can see that big 161% extension comes in here. I definitely wouldn't want to be short. I don't think that that's the right play. I think buying it on dips is the way you have to approach the pound now. But at the same time, if you guys are intraday traders, you need to be aware of this key resistance that we're coming up to. I'm not adding at this moment. Should I be? I don't know. It's a tough question, but there are a lot of shorts out there right now. The market is aggressively short the pound, and so we could squeeze above 128. I honestly don't think we're gonna do it today, but that doesn't make me right, and that doesn't make me want to get out. I actually think we're going a lot higher than 128. I think over time, over the course of the next week or two, we might actually see above 130. So I don't want to. It's very tempting to just go ahead and start exiting and taking profits, and I know a lot of you guys are. That's always smart to do along the way, but I think this is could quite possibly be the beginning of a multi-week move higher. So take that into account as well. I think a lot of it has to do with price action. You watch the cable, you see how well it holds up. As long as you're not seeing any major reversals, you see a rally, pause, maybe a 30 pip, 40 pip consolidation. That's just a rest before it moves higher again. And as long as we're not seeing any sharp major reversals on daily charts, especially like the daily candles, I think the pound's got a lot of oomph left in it. So just think about that for those of you that are looking longer term.
How about them putting up the monthly there for a minute, Blake? And this would be a classic type of retest of a breakdown going back to the 09 low. That's obviously that 135 or so would kind of be a natural place for it to try and get to eventually, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't think that's out of the question at this point. I really think that that's possible that we can make a move like that. Boy, this cable is so strong. Oh my God. So we could rally to the mid 130s. I think it's possible. I mean, if you look at all these pound crosses, you got the pound yen, and I'm not long the pound yen, but the pound yen that is about ready to take it. Well, it's taking out the downtrend line here. Yeah. We're back above the 200-day moving average. You look at the euro pound, we're at the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern. Right. You look at pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand's breaking higher. That could see the mid 180s, maybe even close to 190. You got the pound Aussie above the 200-day moving average. Just a breakout today with the Aussie just in the dumps today. Yeah. We could very easily be in the 170s again. Pound Canadian, I mean, we could be back in the 170s as well. We have a triangle target that comes in at 174. So there's a lot of upside left in the cable across the board. So I don't necessarily think that if you're out there and you're like, oh, I'm just going to short the pound, there's no way it could be up 130 130 pips, 150 pips, 180 pips right now. You know, if you ever have that in your mind, just realize the positioning is very short the cable right now. It's extremely short. There's a lot of you know, over 100,000 contracts short the cable. I'm sure they're getting wound down right now as we speak. But you've got a major short position that has not even turned long yet. You know, so you have to think about it. If you got a
so these are COT numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So you got 100,000 contracts that are short. That's probably wound down to maybe like 70 or 80 today, thousand. But you still have to get to even, and then you're going to then like, let's say the pound dollar is at 130, then you're going to get traders going, oh my God, it's at 130, we're going back to 135. Then the positioning starts to get long. So then you'll be up, you'll be, in a couple of weeks, we could be 30,000 contracts, 50,000 contracts long. And by the time all that transpires, we can be up into the mid 130s. Nicola Duke's friend, the Jedi Yoda, Jedi economist, we call him Yoda. He thinks that we could see 140 and thinks it's going to be a great short up there. I mean, that, you think where we're at right now, 127, if we scream up to 140, where does that put every other cross? I mean, the euro pound could be at 80 pence, 78 pence.
Yeah.
Some of these pound crosses could be 500 to 1,000 pips higher. So there's a lot of potential there. So for those of you that just want to stand in the way of this train, just realize that this train it looks like today is like the first day it's actually accelerating higher. So,
so don't be penny wise and pound foolish.
Exactly. I mean, right. There you go. Pound, actually it would be pence foolish.
Yes. Okay.
Penny wise and pence foolish. Pence being the penny. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Quid break. Like.
You know what? I'm tired, so I shouldn't do that to you, Dale.
All right, buddy.
But I hope some of you guys are along the cable. If you guys are any substantial pullback, I think any 30 to 50 pip pullback in the pound, especially if we dip back down below 127, I think those are going to be buying opportunities intraday. I think there's a lot of momentum. So just be really, you might want to check yourself before you wreck yourself if you want to try to short the cable today. There's a lot of momentum here.
So you answered Pedro's question is where's the level to buy dips in cable? So you're saying 50 pip pullback would be a gift?
It would be a gift. I think so. Unless there's some,
get it.
And you might not, unless there's some news that really alters what's happening at the moment. Like we seeing, I mean, you're not going to see a swing in polls at this point in time. I can't visualize what the factor would be to completely reverse today's gains. But if there is one, then you obviously have to be careful. But price action should be pretty bullish, and I think that 30 to 50 pip dips are going to be bought because you got people that are short. They're looking for exits. You imagine anybody who's short, 10,000 contracts of the cable right now, or a yard of the cable right now. They're sitting here sweating, trying to figure out how the hell to get out of their short position, not necessarily how to short more, if that makes sense.
Great trade, Blake.
Thank you, Dale. All right, I'm going to pass it over. Thank you. I'm going to pass it over to you. I don't want to. I know we got a few of our other team members in today. I know that we have. You probably have more people coming in, and I never know who's coming, but I don't want to take everybody's time. So thank you.
Well, all I can say is with the guests that we have today, that you need to find a seat cushion because Mark Cav is known for his pitchforks.
Awesome.
So you need some kind of, protect yourself against those pitchforks. That's all I can say. And Stelios wants to talk about the fundamentals behind what happened here in the UK. So I'm going to pass it over to Stelios.
Sounds great. Okay, so you have the screen right now. You want to pass it over to, okay. All right, thanks, guys. And I'll be listening in. Thank you.
You're the man.
Thank you.
There you go, Stelios.
Hey, Stelios, welcome home, by the way.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Good to be back. Hi, everybody. Basically, I just wanted to make a quick comment about the UK elections, because I've been reading a lot of stuff today, and people saying, oh, this was a a quick move by Theresa May, and maybe it wasn't thought enough. I actually disagree. I think it was a very smart move, and I'm sure there was a lot of thought behind it. And because we have to remember that she was not voted in, right? She took over after Cameron resigned. So getting these elections in and hopefully winning them for her not only will get backing for her as a leader, but also what she's already said and done about Brexit so far. So she will get all the support behind her, because we've all seen there's a lot of talk. There's people reacting to what she's trying to do with the whole Brexit thing, and she will get a lot of support. And it's also very good timing-wise, because UKIP, the third or fourth party is not as strong as it used to be, and also Labour are like 20 points behind her in the polls. So it seems that she's doing this from a position of power, and it will really strengthen her standing and what she's trying to achieve. Now the thing is, we have to obviously look at all the scenarios, and there is a scenario, very low probability, but there's a scenario that Labour might win. And although they have also backed Brexit, they've been very clear about it. They have a different approach to it. They want much less of a hard Brexit, and they want a lot more of negotiations and all that. So that's a difference between Conservatives and Labour winning. But as I said, the Conservatives are 20 points ahead. So it will take a big shift of voters for May to lose, and this is the British people's chance to say, to effectively disagree with what's happening and the way the whole Brexit procedure is going. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But I think, as I said, overall, it's a smart move by May, because it's really going to cement her position, and really, she was going to have authority to do whatever she wants afterwards. And also, we have to remember that after the French elections next week, we also have the German elections in September. So with the UK elections done in June, and the German elections in September, proper negotiations will start after that. So, I think it's a daring move, but I think it's very well calculated. And I also think that it's a bullish pound event. And for people who follow me on Twitter, you will already know I've been long pound against the euro and Kiwi. But as Blake said, I think this is the beginning. So if this might have a long way to go still. So
congratulations, Stelios. Nice work.
I've had these positions for some time. As people who follow me will know, I'm not a day trader. I'm not a week trader. I'm much more medium-term trader. So it takes its time sometimes for these positions to pay out, but it's looking good so far, I think.
Yeah, being there in Europe, Blake had some real good insights on the upcoming French elections. Do you have any views to share about what you're thinking going into next week?
Yes, I have a view on pretty much anything, like my like my ex-wife. No, but seriously though, I mean, the market is pretty much dismissing a Le Pen victory for next week, and there's good reason for that, because although her party is top in the first round, it's going to be very difficult to see an event where she will get enough votes for the second round to make a win. And all the other candidates, their voters are going to all group together, and it looks like for all the possible options of Le Pen against one of the other candidates, I think best case scenario, she's getting 40% in the second round. So it looks like it's going to be like her party doesn't have a big chance of winning. But having said that, we've all seen what happens, with Brexit and Trump and all that. Okay, granted, this is a lower probability event, but I wouldn't dismiss it. I've seen it being written. I think Nicola actually said it first, that that Brexit is being priced in sterling and not euro, and also the potential of the French elections is not really priced in enough in the euro, and I think I agree with that. You know, it's not a given that Le Pen is not going to win. I think it's not a high percentage event, but I think it's a 15% event, 15-20% event, and that shouldn't be ignored. That could be a huge mover for the euro. So I think it's all going to go according to plan, and one of the other candidates is going to win. We don't know which one yet, but I think Le Pen is not going to make it for the second round, but you never know, and I definitely would not want to be long euro into the French elections.
You stirred up a memory for me. I remember Brexit Eve, and Nick was looking for the Brexit to pass, and I forgot the name of the guy. Who was the name of the guy? He came over to visit Trump. He was the leader of the Brexit movement. What was his name?
Farage.
Farage. Okay, thank you, Steve. Yeah. And he had conceded defeat. And Nick put out a tweet about, pull up your britches. It just began, and go to the pub and give it a chance. And so Nicola Duke forecasted Brexit happening. Even though the leader of Brexit had thrown in the towel for a few hours. So, pay attention to her views. They say that wisdom is she in the Bible, intuition and wisdom. So we're lucky to have a woman on the crew, don't you think?
Absolutely.
All right. All right, and I'm just going to take a quick break here, and Steve Volge, welcome back. Hope your trip was good.
Thank you very much, Dale.
I'm glad to have you back.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. You took your first swim. What was the water temperature where you were at?
It was quite cold at this stage. It was around 19 degrees Celsius, but it was still enjoyable.
Okay. Stelios, you did a great job on that presentation. So Steve, after the break, I want to acknowledge your view on the rising wedge you had in the DAX, and perhaps we could get an update that formation of where we're at, and anything else that you're seeing. Okay?
Sure thing.
So I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to hand it over to you. Any questions for Stelios? And Mark's going to be with us in about 32 minutes. So until then, everyone give me 5. If you were a ForexAnalytix member or subscriber, you would have been here for a lot of these different pound crosses. So even if you weren't home, consider getting this mobile app, because a lot of people also work. Although we have a lot of people, this is full-time, they're pros, this is how they support themselves and their family. A lot of people have other businesses that they run, so really like the fact that, so I have a trimline phone that it was invented way before apps. I want to acknowledge a few members. Okay, I'll get to the euro in a minute, Jess. I want to acknowledge a few members that were real right as well. And that would be Hardianto, showed a euro-yen chart yesterday. It didn't perform as well as the guppy. I believe Luca also was stalking it at that level as well as the guppy. So, and we also have another Mark coming next Wednesday. I booked Mark Chandler for next Wednesday. Mark's, he's a veteran like me. He's been around as long as I'm going to be. Yeah, Mark is a man. Yeah, he's going to be here. Rick, I invited you for an interview. We'll talk later if you're interested in doing it. And let's see, who else? Oh, Armand. Armand showed his long pound. Dan Norberg's been on the money. So the community is really prospering with what's happening this week, and really appreciate all the input that I get from you guys. I encourage everyone in the community to participate by showing their work, showing their charts. It's going to make you a better trader because you're going to feel more accountable. So why don't you stretch yourself and not be shy? You know, people say that they fear. You don't have to do any public speaking. All you have to do is provide a link. And I think it's a great exercise to perhaps explore. Maybe you could be a mentor. Maybe you want to run your own FX business. This is a great way for you to get that type of experience here. So we offer it to you to show your work, strut your stuff, and appreciate all the great calls. You know, Ricardo's a great trader. He was talking about pound crosses before I joined Blake. I'm sure he was there for a good portion of it. So I want to thank everyone and congratulate everyone in the community for taking advantage of what's happened in the market this week. So now I'd like to turn it over to Steve Volge. And Steve showed a chart last week before the S&P sold off. So if you're with me, Steve, I see you're an organizer.
I'm here.
Okay, perhaps you could update us. We had a pretty negative week in risk last week while the yen was selling off before the recovery yesterday.
Sure. Should I grab the screen, Dale?
Okay, I could do that. Yes.
Because as you said, you know, okay, let me first choose which screen. Okay, this one. Okay, tell me when you can see my screen so I can proceed.
Got it.
Okay, we first made a mention that, you know, this whole structure is most probably an ascending wedge. We had made this mention somewhere here. So then we had the potential of a double top, but then we penetrated this zone and we again stalled here by producing a daily spinning top. So since we had kept respecting the resistance of the ascending wedge, it was somewhere here that, if you remember, I mentioned that, listen, we're not bearish yet because obviously we haven't broken any levels and we haven't registered any lower lows, but this is a very this is a situation that you need to be very careful with because this looks a lot like an ascending wedge, and usually those are terminal formations, or at least lead, you know, to deep pullbacks.
Yes.
So not only we have now broken, and if you see on a daily basis retested the support of the ascending wedge.
What's that moving average, the green one there?
This is a 50 DMA, daily moving average. Okay.
All right.
We're currently testing it actually today. But if you see, we also have some interesting levels and some interesting confluences that can give us some initial targets. One of them, I haven't marked it, but you can see that it's also a fib, is this one. This, let's call it, this is a very soft support level because we had some, you know, this top, this bottom, etc. It's around 11,850, and this is also the 23.6 fib from the Trump low, from the Trump election low. But then a more important level for me is this one, this zone which surrounds 11,500. Why? Because actually this is, first of all, a horizontal zone of interest, but second of all, we have a confluence here of the 23.6% fib and the 38.2 fib, one of them from the low that we found in 2016, and the other one from the election that Trump got elected.
The U.S. election.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. Exactly. So we have a confluence of three factors here, two fib levels and a horizontal support resistance zone. So this is the first area I'm looking for as a serious candidate to provide some support, 11,500. As you see, we're still far away from it, and the risk reward still favors shorts if you believe that this is an achievable target. Of course, if we penetrate through that, Then we have the 200 DMA at roughly 11,000. We have this very strong level that acted as resistance for several months after breaking out. I remind you that the DAX was respecting a descending channel for quite a long time, and after breaking above it, we found strong resistance in this 10,800 area. We got rejected at least in 10 different occasions, daily occasions. So, you know, plenty of downside targets, but the first serious one is roughly 500 handles lower. So, you know, I think there's still a point for somebody to be looking lower.
Yes, and Steve, after many years of U.S. outperformance, there's been a lot of money flow into ETFs and mutual funds overseas because there's been outperformance there over the last, say, 6 months. So people are moving into European bourses, emerging market bourses, and actually having a very negative day today. So great call, beautiful rising wedge. It's a textbook if you want to see.
And I remember that you actually asked me the question, why wouldn't I prefer, because of that, to be short the Dow Jones, for example. And if you remember, what I answered back then is, when I see a very clean formation, I don't care about relative overperformance or underperformance, because simply there is no guarantee that that is going to persist, or anyhow that we won't have a short-term disengagement of you know, a new trend. So this could easily reverse, but I knew that I liked DAX for the same reasons. This is the CFD for the Footsie 100. As you see, we had an equivalent formation here. And we also had a topping formation here, a retest of the wedge, and we are almost at a level of interest here, a horizontal support which passes around 7,100. And as you see, today's candle is extremely bearish. As you
know, that makes me ask you a question. Maybe you know. Basically, most of this rally happened during a period of pound weakness.
Exactly.
And then we started moving sideways. So if, you know, your analysts or some people are talking 140 pound, that would mean the continuation, a strong pound is actually negative for the Footsie.
It's a very serious headwind. Yeah.
Okay.
Very serious.
Yeah. People wondered why, when the pound was getting killed, even the first day after Brexit, Footsie recovered big time. So actually, a strong currency is negative for their
yes,
forces.
and the reason, the main reason is that, as you understand, we're talking about a performance, but that performance is relative for foreigners that invest by having to switch their dollars to pounds, for example, to participate. You know what I mean? And since the vast majority of the big markets are obviously globalized, as you understand, yeah, if Footsie participants were only UK citizens, that would not be the case. But we know very well that that's not the case for any of the bourses, right?
Right. Okay.
That's why a currency weakness does help with, you know, with an index going up, and the exact opposite happens when you have currency strength. And as Blake showed before, so I don't need to go over the same charts, because if you remember, we've gone through the pound pairs together as well, and Blake more than 2-3 times, at least I remember, has shown it. We see we have a serious break higher for the pound against almost everything, and this, I want to stress it out as well, this needs to be respected. This needs to be respected, because currently trying to fade this is like trying to pick up pennies in front of the roller coaster. I mean, you might get massacred. And
okay,
that's,
so
you
know, so we're looking at a live example of the Rickards currency wars, the race to debase currency is better for the economy. Exports become more competitive, and their markets perform with a weaker currency instead of a stronger one. Stronger one is a bit deflationary for the economy.
Yeah, but you know, it depends on the situation. Depends on the economy. Depends on what percentage of the GDP, you know, is related to exports, the size of the economy, etc., etc. The foreign direct investments. I mean, it's an economic conversation we can have. I mean, it's multifactorial. But yes, as a general rule, yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay. Thank you so much, Steve.
Oh, it was my pleasure. So those two indexes have similar characteristics, and that's why I wanted to, you know, to showcase them so people, you know, are aware.
Okay. So thanks very much for sharing your work. It was a great call. You have really a great eye. I've never been in a situation where I have the input of so many good traders. Normally they're guests and instead of part of the team every day. So always great to hear the team's views. Thanks so much. I'm getting a lot of feedback from the community here. I'm getting a look. Someone's saying that the reassess of the Aussie Kiwi could be a weekly buy here. Let me take a look at what they're seeing at 670. I thought we could go to 670 if we took out 750. Let's see what VAMSI has.
I think I still have the screen, by the way, yeah?
Yeah. I'll take it back.
Sure.
Getting a little inside candle here on Canada. That's a currency that Steve Volge says don't even mess around with it. It's so choppy. Adam Button agreed with him yesterday. So here's a look from VAMSI on Aussie Kiwi. Looking at 670, I believe this is a weekly look here as being a buying opportunity. That was the next level. Not that far away from it. Between 670 and 618. I don't know what type of fib retracement it is, but we definitely shook out the 750 long, so you still can give it the benefit of the doubt. I want to see what it looks like down here. It could be a nice recommit. Everyone thank VAMSI for this view. And I have a couple other comments here. Metals just got smacked, so again, that was something I talked about. I was not impressed with the metals, especially silver. So silver's under some pressure now, Stelios. I want everyone to thank VAMSI for this look. Ronit, who I'm going to interview too, says it's too early. He says there's an ascending triangle, which is bullish, could make a new high. They're all in ascending triangles, which is bullish. I got your Aussie Kiwi. Got your Aussie Kiwi. I did that. Only DAX in the triangle, ascending triangle. Okay, Ronit. All the markets will roll over together. EU, please. Jess is interested in my view on Euro, and we're about 10 minutes away from our interview with Mark. So just want to let you know that Canada is being turned back here. This is a 4-hour, Jess. I was, when I liked it last week on the throwover, I was only looking for a fib retracement, maybe back to about 107.5, Jess. Here's the reasons. So I was viewing any rally in the euro more like a bear market rally. When I said I couldn't get bearish. So 61.8, 107.36. So there's some confluence here around 107.40. I'd be taking longs off there. Does that help? Okay, I'm not in the 111 camp at this time though. You know, a lot of people talking 113 or so. But last week I figured we could at least rally back to 107, some type of fib retrace. Any other questions for me? So we're confirming this high. I wouldn't get short yet. I hope that helps. US dollar yen. You know, we were looking for the 108 number. We had divergence yesterday in US dollar yen right here. I thought that we could get a rally maybe back towards 112. I'm not impressed with this bottom here on the 1 hour. See what the 4 looks like. I'm making all kinds of marks I'm not in trying to do. All right. Let me remove this. And yesterday I also showed maybe a rally back to 112. I don't know why my mouse is acting up like it. Here's the 4. So I wasn't real impressed here either. But I think eventually we get a move back up towards 112. Some type of rally back towards 112. Too clean of a bottom. Yeah, I don't like this. Everyone see this right here? All right, that's an RSI reading of 21 here. So more focused on the possibility. Want to take a look at the oil, see if it backs up. My view for one more pullback in Canada. Looks like a bull flag we have here working. Bull flag working in crude. I don't think this is a top. It's diverging, but I think we can make another move up towards 54, and that should be negative USD CAD. But about 15 cents ago, I said, did anyone take the short silver? I thought we could head down. I've been talking about divergences in silver for a while. I think we're going to attack 1780 here. So the metals are selling off with a weak dollar. I find that very interesting. How about you? Dan still thinks we have another low left on the yen. I think that's possible, Dan. Before we get some type of bear market rally, I'm not sure it's going to be a big bull move, but Baki also mentioned that level. Thanks for all the input. Ronan's saying only below 106.50 it'll turn down. Monthly channel out there. All right, nice trade, Anthony. You know, when you take my ideas, you should be taking, well, I mean, you're your own boss, your own captain, but I would be taking partial profits and pulling your stops down to BE on that. You know, book a little something. You never go broke taking profits, correct? Can I get an amen on that? You never go broke taking profits. That's an old Bernard Baruch. saying, and he was pretty successful. Okay, so we're going to have Mark here in a few minutes, and I'm just going to take one more break before I bring Mark in. Looking forward. I don't think I've ever interviewed you before, Mark, have I? Did I interview you on FX Street? This is going to be our first interview? Nope. Okay, well, I apologize. I should have. But it's never too late, right? Okay, so you're going to lose your interview. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. All right, you're losing your virginity. All right, Mark, stand by in 5 minutes. I'm going to run a commercial and we'll get the interview started. Thanks for showing up today, Mark. Hope you're enjoying your time in here with us. Did you take partials on that silver?
All right.
All right. Hi, Mark.
Oh, you can hear me. Hey,
I
Dale,
can.
how are you?
So nice to meet you. You know, I've been following you on Twitter for so many years. I don't know how I overlooked you. I did 700 interviews at FX Street. So
Yeah, you asked me once, and I didn't feel I was ready at the time.
No kidding.
You know.
So what? You've had an epiphany since then, or what? What happened?
Well, I thought this would be a great opportunity to, you know, also announce that me and Andy are going to start, you know.
Oh yes, Owlsy.
Right.
Owlsy. Okay,
Right.
yeah, I heard about that from Nicole. Nick.
Nick, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nick said something that you guys are going to start a new business. So,
Right.
you know, before we get to the pips, you know what I used to do, Mark, is I like to find out what it was like for everyone at the beginning of their journey and how they ended up in this industry. You want, you know,
Right.
get in a time machine and tell us
Yeah.
how it happened for you.
Well, it happened like back in 1999. I kind of stumbled upon FXEM at the time and looked at what Forex is and downloaded a demo and that's where it all started actually. Not full time, just off and on. And then I started working from home with the company, for the company that I worked for at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, then if you have multiple screens, you don't have to devote all your time to your employer. You can do something on the side. And that was in 2003, I think.
I love my commute in the morning. One room to the next.
I hated my only commute that I had for the last 15 years was from the bedroom to the office, and
Right.
that was it.
Yeah, we're definitely spoiled. Every time I see a freeway here in Southern Cal that looks like a parking lot, I'm so grateful that
Same
I
here in
have that
Frankfurt.
kind of lifestyle.
But,
So,
but
what gravitated you towards Andrew's pitchforks, and did you go through a lot of different methods before you found something that suited your personality?
over the years, I've tried everything, and literally everything. You know, like everybody at one point in their careers did. You put stochastics on there, RSI, all those indicators, and you try to figure out, okay, what's going to be my edge, and moving averages, and Bollinger Bands, and Ishimoku, and everything. And it's actually only in the last 3 years since I've watched Michael Boutros and Jamie Setley use those pitchforks, and it just clicked for me. Like, keep it simple, use the pitchforks, use RSI, that's the only indicator I use.
And you use
do.
fibs and a yearly
fibs.
open. Yeah. And the
Yes.
yearly open's your most important pivot because you have it on the chart, right?
Right. I wasn't sure which screen you could see.
I'm looking at US dollar yen right now.
Okay. Then I picked the right screen. Yeah, then I picked the right screen.
Okay.
The only thing is I like RSI 20. It evens out the period a little bit more. And I watch 40 and 60. So
Okay.
that's what I change on TradingView.
So like my 30 and 70 for divergences turns into 30 and 60 if you expand it from the 14 to the 20.
Right.
Got
Exactly.
it. Okay, that's an interesting twist. How did you come up with that?
That's also from the guys over at SB Trade Desk.
Okay.
But also the trend lines on the RSI, I really like that. It gives me a little bit of an indication how the trend is, not only on price but also on RSI.
Yeah.
It's very useful, I think.
So once you had a breakdown of the uptrend in the RSI, did it tell you to only sell rallies in US dollar yen? Is that how you
For instance.
executed? Yeah.
Yes, for instance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you see
also for breakouts.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
yeah.
So so above 60 was a breakout for you. That you're in an acceleration phase, like that last big move after the election.
Like right here?
Yeah. We got over 60 and ran to, looks like almost 80, which would be maybe a 90 on a 14 RSI.
Probably, but like we all do, we might get in on the right, with the right timing, but we never hold until the end.
Yeah.
And
you're just trying to take a piece out of it. Do you use your, so tell us how you use the pitchforks, the midpoint on a pitchfork and the other two, and if you go back to, now we're at, if you go back to the yen, where we were, we could go to Aussie Kiwi. Maybe you could tell me what you're seeing in US dollar yen based upon your work now.
Well, it's not only the pitchforks, because obviously you can see that price went outside of the pitchfork, but it's also I call this the slope of influence of price. So these are all parallels, and they've been really good to me to gauge. Okay, where are we? Are we in between? Then I don't know what to do. But once we reach one of my parallels, then I pay attention, like here and here.
And now?
Same thing. And now, exactly.
Yeah. So,
of course, I also, on a daily, I watch the 200 SMA, which everybody looks at, I guess. Yeah, I'm of course with RSI near oversold.
Okay. So is this a non-trade for you, but don't be short because we're at your purple line? It's not enough for you to want to get long, but it's enough for you not to want to be short down here.
Right, exactly.
How do you like my mind reading skills?
Oh, you probably saw this a million times. And in the end, it doesn't really matter what system you use, as long as you stick to your own system.
Yeah.
It's with Elliott wave. I mean, I've got a little bit of knowledge of an Elliott wave, and I do look at 5 waves up and correction and hang on. No, I don't want to talk to him. But I couldn't trade with that solely.
Okay. Yeah, I have enough to make me dangerous, enough knowledge to make me dangerous in other ways. So, if you wanted to move on, I think you were looking at Aussie or Aussie Kiwi, which is, I've noticed that you kind of had the same bias as me in the last few months of Aussie Kiwi being constructive, and we're pulling back here.
Right. So it was really a bottoming process, and yeah, I know we were both like, okay, bullish, bullish, bullish. And today, actually, I thought this would just be a retest of this sliding parallel from this pitchfork.
Yeah.
We are a little bit below it, but I think it could be a false break. I still think we're going up, though.
I agree.
We'll see what RSI does.
Someone in the room is talking about 610 to 670 for a possible entry. I'm bullish too, but my line in the sand was at 750. If we took it out, I just wanted to be flat and reassess. Doesn't mean that I've turned bearish. It just means that the market has to set up again, refresh and set up. So
I think this is a weekly, of course, but I think we're really at a level that needs to hold. Look at all these tries here to get over it.
Right.
We went over it, so this should be support.
Okay. So we'll know next week.
Exactly.
If the candle closes like this, or there's still time this week for it to turn.
Yeah.
And I like your pitchfork. Actually, I have some similar measured targets. Ricardo pointed these long-term targets out to me quite some time ago, around 123, 124. So you're looking at 120. Yeah. That's a possibility.
Yeah. According to this pitchfork. I mean, the pitchfork for me is not, it's for entries and to know, okay, if the entry is good at the lower parallel, I take profit at the median line.
Interesting. Okay, so a lot of people use bully bands the way you use pitchforks.
Yeah.
So
I don't like Bollinger bands.
But the midpoint is an action area for you.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Either it goes through it, and then okay, I got a target, and I always incorporate fibs too, and fib extensions. So I just don't only use pitchforks.
Okay. So was there
and on all time frames? So I've got it's coming up in a minute, I hope. Hourly, 4 hours, daily, weekly, monthly, and I draw them on all time frames.
All right, so you have a pitchfork coming in here right around the big round number, and 50% retrace 106.70, which is a number someone in the room just mentioned. Okay, and so you have some confluence at 670.
I don't think it's going to go there, but that's just me. It's because RSI and Aussie was at support, and
it was and because it was news driven, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you ascribe to people who buy headlines today, sell newspapers tomorrow?
I didn't get that.
People who who trade based upon a headline.
I of course I'm aware of the headlines, and I'm trying to understand the fundamentals and everything. But let's face it, I don't think 99.9% of the traders don't have a degree in economics. So why would you even try to understand what is going on if, in my opinion, even the central bankers don't know what they did and what the effects are going to be on the economy over the next few years? So it's like, okay, there's a new election, like today there's a new election and the pound is taking off. Well, normally, you know, risk should mean the pound goes down. So anyway, or with a bad or a good NFP number, you never know what the dollar is going to do.
Price is king, and a picture speaks 1,000 words.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's why technicals are so nice, and if you look at what is happening with the all the pairs right before a big news event, you can almost don't want to get cocky, but you can almost see, okay, what is the positioning and what is going to happen, regardless of the good or the bad news.
Okay, let me ask you about this chart. So you have a pitchfork. Maybe some
This is a
people...
bad example, though.
All right, but I want to ask you about it anyway. It's up there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I trade wedges a lot. And
Yes.
sometimes wedges will have throwovers where it'll accelerate on a rising wedge through the upper return line. And, you know, throwovers make traders throw up. So here we had a throwover on the pitchfork when we went to 110. But then we got back within the pitchfork. So actually, the trade became valid once it re-entered the formation, similar to what happens on a throw over on a rising wedge and a throw under a falling wedge. You wait for them to get back inside.
In theory, yes, but like I said, this is a bad example. I was just you know, trying to draw something for today.
Okay.
This is but while I was doing it,
I actually think it's a great example because, you know, it came back in and then tried to rally back outside of the pitchfork and did for a couple of bars.
It went pretty far out.
Yeah.
But the reason why I still kind of like this pitchfork is because of the median line, you know, where price reacted here, reacted here, reacted here. So that is the most important thing about pitchforks is you look at the median line and you see how price reacts around there as a kind of a pivot.
That's a pearl. All right. So though anyone who uses pitchforks, you could use the midpoint as a pivot. Okay.
Right.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, it's you know, people that start off with it try to be like really precise, and sometimes it is really precise, but it's actually more about price action around the median line and around the lower and upper parallels.
Okay.
It's subjective. It's also subjective.
It is.
So
okay. So any other instruments that you're that you want to show to us that might give us an idea of how you use it for forecasting, where you think where things are and where they might head?
well, you've basically seen everything. We can look at the euro here. Well, I don't know why it's so slow. Hang on. Or let me show you a weekly euro chart.
Okay.
Hang on. It's probably because the bandwidth is taken. So I sometimes play around with you know, all the instruments that are in TradingView, and this, for instance, is like kind of interesting that you know, the highs over the years were exactly 160 weeks apart.
Interesting.
Well, exactly or approximately, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm thinking euro could rally and make another significant lower high, basically. I just don't know where. I'm guessing it's going to be higher than what you guys just said in the webinar. I'm looking at 117. Yeah.
Okay. And where is that time frame wise? Where's that coming in June?
In July.
July? Okay, that's interesting. So we could have a rally in the euro into the July timeframe based upon, do you consider that a fractal, those 162 bars?
No, I don't consider that a fractal, but if you look at here, you know, it is possible that the euro can rally that much in a few weeks, like we see here and like we see here. You know, if we
yeah, dollar vulnerable. That would take the dollar back to beneath its levels or to the levels before the Trump victory, which was 111. That would take you to 126. Wow.
Yeah, but okay, I'm not the fractal guy. That's Andy. That's Ozzy. He's the fractal master.
Okay.
And that's why we had the idea of putting our both of our methods together, and you know, get a bit of an extra edge in the market, and that is working out. In more cases than I thought it would. So that's very interesting.
Okay. Ronit says you should look at a fractal that started in these 2009 for the euro. That's his view. What I'd like to do, okay, so you want to show cable here? Okay.
Well, since I was playing around with a fractal on the monthly too, so that's why.
Okay.
Just wanted to show you this. If you look at this one, you know.
Yeah.
That is a pretty nice match, basically.
Real nice match.
Anyway, this is all wishful thinking. I mean,
I don't call it. I just call it thinking. You know, it's not wishful. It's not pessimistic. It's just having an open mind and looking at different possibilities. So,
right.
I think it's great work, Mark. Don't short yourself. So, anyway. You know what? I enjoyed this interview. How about you?
I did too. I was very nervous, but
you did great.
Really cool.
You know, I wish you and Ozzy all the success in your new venture.
Thank you.
And perhaps we could have you on as a tag team down the road. You know, I've done that where I've interviewed teams before.
Right.
And want to thank you for. Go ahead.
I think Nick already asked Andy, and he was interested.
Okay. So, and so I want to thank you for your time and edifying the community with your specialty of pitchforks and showing a little fractal stuff for us too, and you know, opening, you know, being an open book to show us what you do and how you do it. And I'm grateful to have you in my stream, and you know, feel free to tweet in the stream, and wish nothing but pips to rain down on you and your new venture with Andy.
Same for you, my friend.
All right. So
thank you for having me.
Okay. So you could follow Mark at Mark_have, and what's Andy's at Ozzy what?
1968. It's his birthday today, by the way. So everybody that's listening.
Is he here today? Is he in the room? Listening to you?
Oh, I probably forgot to tell him.
Oh, really?
I don't know if he is. Maybe he's probably in here.
Ozzy, and just in case you're here, so he's born in '68. Oh, he's still a young guy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ozzy. Happy birthday to you, sung by Elvis Pinkert. All right, my trading warrior brother.
Okay.
Thanks for hanging out with us and sharing your work, Mark.
Okay. Thank you, Dale. Thanks, everyone.
All right, buddy. Take it easy. So that's going to be a wrap for me, guys. Thank you, everyone. I hope that the content today added value to what you're trying to accomplish as a trader. You're welcome. Hallelujah, hallelujah. You're very welcome, Patrick. Tolson, tactical short. Okay. You're like me. You like to hear the ice crack, Tolson. You're welcome, Hardianto. I want to thank Steve Volge and Stelios for their participation today. There's Mark waving to us. And I want to congratulate the man, Blake Morrow. Thank you, Ronan. See you, Russell. So tomorrow I have another interesting guest. I have Peter, what's Peter's last name? He's World Cycle Guy. So Peter's going to be with us, not Peter Schiff, no. But I'll see everyone tomorrow. I'll see everyone tomorrow. You like him? What's his last name? Peter Temple. Peter Temple. That's it. All right, BW. Okay. So adios, everyone. Have a great day. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. I'll see everyone tomorrow. Good hunting. Enjoy your spring. Live life. Adios.